your voter registration and residency requirements to a whiteboard and signature. Keith Peters reported.
A winter storm has dumped heavy snow across northern Arizona, plaguing them. They're factoring a 15-mile backup on a major interstate. Big rigs and other vehicles stalled on I-40 westbound between Flagstaff and Williams. Just an hour late Friday. More details at townhall.com. I'm Ron Taylor.
30 seconds.
75 years or older and suffer from food insecurity, the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry is here to help. We serve the families in Middleboro, Lakeville, Harvard, and Rochester. Please leave a message on our pantry hotline at 508-947-1717. A volunteer will call back to gather some needed information. Obtain your desired list of groceries. These will be collected for you and delivered to your home free of charge. May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
Oh my.
What's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro news, here on AM 1530 WBBS. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning and welcome to Middleboro in Review as I get all the mics situated here. There we go. Alright, we're all set to go.
All the knobs in order.
Yeah, all the buttons are in order. Yeah.
All the gadgets and digits
Yes, they are.
and
Okay.
mechanisms and
So,
thingamajigs.
we got that. Good morning. Today, well, it's not quite morning yet. The sun's not up.
We all know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we changed the
A
blocks.
little weird, but anyway, good morning. It is March 9th, 2025. I am Joe Driscoll, joined by Don.
Good morning.
As always, good morning, Don. We have our Today in History, we're just going to get right to those. 1862, American Civil War. USS Monitor and USS Monitor and CSS Virginia, rebuilt from the engines of the lower hull of the USS Merrimack, fight to a draw in the Battle of Hampton Roads. It's the first battle between two ironclad warships. 1933, during the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt submits the Emergency Banking Act to Congress, and that's the first of his New Deal policies. You know, depending on who you ask, when it comes to the New Deal, it either worked or it was a complete failure.
No, I think it worked.
Well, I mean, you know, depending on who you get, depending on what historical person you ask,
If you look,
it's like with everything.
if you look back at history, right, and when the big crash, the Great Depression started, the Hoover administration didn't do nothing.
No, of course.
They didn't do nothing.
Yes.
And the Republicans didn't get back in for another 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you?
Yeah.
What does that tell you? They didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
They sat on their hands.
No.
They did nothing for the people.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I mean, that's.
Exactly.
I mean, you're talking four elections for Franklin Roosevelt.
Yeah, but all I'm pointing out is that with every issue, you have one side saying it works, the other side saying that it doesn't work. That's the only thing I'm pointing out here.
Yeah.
It's the only.
But if you want my humble opinion, I think it worked. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it worked to a point as well. Yes.
No, it worked. We went to a point. What do you mean by that?
To a point, and then World War II happened, and then
Right,
we
well,
got out of it. We got out of the Great Depression. I think with World War II, it fastened. The
I think
process.
we're on our way to get out. I think even if we didn't have the war, I think we were working our way out of it because you're talking, the war was 1941. So you're talking 33 to 41. That's like 7.5, 8 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would have eventually gotten out.
And
of
they
it
did
as
a
well.
lot.
All I'm saying is that the war fastened.
Yeah, they did,
that.
but they did a lot. They did a lot of projects. They did a lot of great projects, you know.
Yes.
And, a
Absolutely.
lot of parkways were built. A lot of infrastructure was built.
And then the president afterwards, of course, with the highways. So
Eisenhower. Yeah.
Eisenhower.
Yeah. 1956. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
One of
signed
the
that.
presidents
Yeah.
afterwards. So that was a big deal. That was
They
a
said
big deal,
they
too.
said that particular footprint or that particular law, when they started in '56, that the last piece of highway in that structure was put down in 1992. So the whole, plan they had that they started in 1956 ended in 1992 as far as that particular footprint of that '56 model.
Yes.
I mean, I know that since '92 they put other highways and other interstates in, and it's interstates too. It's the blue and it's the blue shell. So because like a Route 3 isn't an interstate, it's not up to interstate standards.
No.
Route 24, it's not all of it's up to interstate standards. I think from Route 128 all the way up to 495, I think it might be, but the stretch from 495 down there through Taunton and down the Fall River, it's definitely not up to standards.
Speaking of World War II, the firebombing of Tokyo took place on this day in 1945. It destroyed most of the capital and killed over 100,000 civilians. 1961, Sputnik 9 successfully launches and carrying a dog and a human dummy and demonstrating that the Soviet Union was ready to begin human spaceflight. But Don, did the Soviets really win the space race?
No, not at the end, but
No,
they
not at the end.
they had us on the ropes at the
They
beginning. They definitely did.
At a point they did.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
a point they did, but
Yep.
we won.
And they were the first country to put a human in space too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They get that. Yeah.
But I mean, we by the mid '60s during the Gemini programs and up to and up to the Apollo programs, we totally passed them
Oh, yeah.
at that point in time.
Absolutely. 1987, Chrysler announces its acquisition of American Motors Corporation. 2011, Space Shuttle Discovery makes its final landing after 39 flights. Our birthdays today in right now, 1824. Amasa Leland Stanford, American businessman, politician. He founded what university, Don?
Stanford.
Stanford University, exactly. Yes.
That's easy.
The last name gives it away. Yes.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, you'll like this.
That's a yeah.
You'll like this next birthday, Don. Will Geer, American actor.
Ah, I love Will Geer. You know who Will Geer is, right?
Yes,
Oh.
from the Waltons, correct?
He's grandpa from the Waltons, but he played in a lot of movies. He was in a movie called Jeremiah Johnson with, pretty sure it was with Dan Haggerty. Was it with Dan Haggerty? You know what? I'm not even cheating. I'm not even looking at my phone. I'm going by memory, but he was Jeremiah Johnson. Well, and if anybody knows, what's the number they call, Joey?
508-822-1106.
Well, he did that. He was in that movie, but yeah, Will Geer. He died in 1976, I think, right?
Mhm.
He was awesome, and I love the Waltons. I just love the Waltons. I think the Waltons. It's one of those. It's just because the storyline is around the Depression and what they had to do, and it's funny that I'm not sure. I mean. I'm not sure if they ever got a TV. They never had a TV. They sit next to the radio. It's funny how things were different back then when people would just sit next to the radio or just sit in the living room and talk. I mean, since TV and computers have been founded, I think we're about distance, from each other as communication as a family, because everyone's in their own little world. I mean, you're on your computer, I'm on my phone, someone else is watching TV. And everyone's in different rooms. But back then, even in the 70s when I grew up, there was TV, but it was most people only had one TV growing up in the 70s, and I remember that, and everyone was in one room, and everyone went to bed at the same time. So, but in the 30s, before TV, it's just it's funny how the American families changed just over technology. It's,
Yes.
It's pretty fascinating.
And he was also in several different television shows other than the Waltons. He was in Mayberry RFD, which was the sequel to the Andy Griffith Show. There, so he was in that. Mission Impossible, the television show. He was in that.
Was he really?
Yes, he was in that. Hawaii Five-0. He was in that as well.
Oh, an episode, you mean, right?
Yes, he was in, of course, the Waltons. He was in Columbo, an episode of Columbo, Stitch and Crime, which also had Leonard Nimoy in it. So that was a big deal.
Yep.
Leonard Nimoy was really good in that episode, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I'm sorry. Robert Redford
Robert Redford, okay.
and Will Gere. Yeah, that's who it was.
All right.
Dan Haggerty was that program, Life of Town of Grizzly Adams.
Mm.
That's Dan Haggerty. Okay, so I got those two mixed up. Well, whatever. I had to cheat. I had to look at my computer.
All right. Our other birthdays today, we have Mickey Gilley, American singer, songwriter, and pianist. We have Poe Dameron, a.k.a. Oscar Isaac, Guatemalan American actor. Poe Dameron, of course, Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the fighter pilot there.
Yeah. I like that character.
He was one of the characters I liked.
Yeah, there wasn't many characters I liked. I didn't even like the original characters at all. But Chewbacca, that's about it.
You know what? I liked. I did like Kylo. I think Kylo Ren was played amazingly. I think Adam Driver is a great actor.
Yeah.
Poe Dameron, of course, was played well. I didn't care for Rey. And maybe it was just the character and how it was written. I know Daisy Ridley's probably a great actress.
No, she was really good at it, but I mean.
She was great, but just the way it was written, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Finn was not believable.
I mean,
either.
even Princess Leia, I don't know. I didn't like.
I think a lot of the writing was just not.
And then Luke Skywalker was a crybaby.
Oh boy.
For both of them. I don't know.
Oh boy, we can spend a whole hour talking about Skywalker.
And he talked about that too, and he wasn't, he's just like, I'm a Jedi master and I'm whining.
No. We could spend a whole hour about how they did Luke Skywalker in an Injustice big time.
Episodes 7, 8, and 9. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, and don't get me started on Harrison Ford and how his character ended up dying as well. So.
The most popular character in Star Wars. Hey, tell you what, let's
to further the plot line. Yeah, further the plot line,
right.
which was ridiculous.
Which was a turnoff at that point.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean,
to further a plot line, which again ridiculous.
Episode 7 was almost like a mirror of Episode 4, New Hope, because they go in and they blow up this moon base, which was the Death Star. It was almost the same.
It's almost an insult to me. It's almost an insult to compare the two because they're just not on the same level.
But they're kind of the same. But the only reason I kind of thought that because. When it came out, I was excited because you're waiting for it. Now you come back and you think about it. It
could have been what, 10 years.
Right.
At that point.
But my brother went and took his kids there, and my brother's not, he's not a big sci-fi fan. He's not. He saw Star Wars back in '77 when we all went as kids, and I never thought of it. But you got to take somebody who's not a big sci-fi and just went and saw the movie and said it was just like the first. It was just like the first one. It was like Episode 1. The first one was just Star Wars, and then they went and turned around, and they renamed it A New Hope. But it was Episode 4, and everyone was looking at the captions. I go, well, Episode 4. So
you would find out. It would take a while, but you would find out as to why it was called Episode 4.
It took 35 years.
It took a while, but they paid it off eventually.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's a yeah.
All right. Anyway, our deaths on this day: 1997, the Notorious B.I.G., American rapper, songwriter, and actor. He was a great rapper. You know, rapping during the 90s, for me, that's kind of what I turned to.
Yeah.
With rapping.
I've never been a big rap fan.
That's kind of what I turned
Give
to.
me the Sugar Hill Gang. Rappers
Sugar
are
Hill
like
Gang
me.
was
I'll call it a day. and Blondie too. Rapture. There was those two. There's a toss up between who has the first rap song. It was
It was Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar Hill Gang. Then some people say Blondie Rapture.
It was Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, because that was done
In
with 76.
my opinion, it was Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah.
And Blondie, yeah, it's kind of a rap song, but
It's definitely a rap. It's definitely a rap song.
I can't, you know, what's the word? I can't get myself to like that song.
You know what? You know why I like it so much? Because my sister loves Blondie, and when that came out, when that song came on, she'd know every word. She'd sing it just like Deborah Harry, word for word. And it's a lot of words. It's a tongue-twisting song, if you think about it.
Oh, of course.
And she'd do it absolutely perfect. You know, better than Deborah Harry, in my opinion, because I'm biased, because it's my sister. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's why, you know, just hearing her sing it just made me really look at it and like, well, really? I mean, and if she likes it, I gotta like it, you know, because she, you know, to get to know the song that well and be on sync with her voice, just, you know, singing it off the radio. But I thought it was impressive. I think the song's impressive. I love Blondie. I thought Blondie, Heart of Glass. I thought that was.
Hard Glass is great.
I just thought the whole band was. I just thought the first few years of
I'm just
Blondie
not a fan of.
was cutting edge. It was cutting edge. I really thought it was cutting edge.
I am a huge fan of Hard Glass. I am. I'm just not a huge fan of Rapture. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am a huge fan of Miley Cyrus's cover of Hard Glass as well. Check that out.
She did a good job on
Oh,
that.
that's amazing.
She did it, and it's funny too because she's got like a little bit of a raspy voice,
Yeah.
which I thought made it different, which I liked.
Yeah. I think with singers who have raspy voices, I think that would have worked.
But
well.
Blondie didn't.
No, yeah.
Blondie had a high, real gentle voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it was good. You played that for me. I really enjoyed it.
And finally, passing away on this day in 2007, Brad Delp of the band Boston.
Yeah. That was a sad day because Boston, that first Boston album, it's a staple in your conscience as far as music is concerned. Hearing it on the radio, it was that's funny because when you grow up, you hear that song and you remember hearing the songs in the 70s, 76, 77 when it came out, and you kind of remember who you were with at the time,
Absolutely.
And that reminds me of my stepbrothers and his buddy Ronald or what, I don't know. It's funny how especially that album, because that brings back a lot of memories through each year, and that's something that you always try to think about. I think music does that for everybody.
Absolutely, I agree.
Going back to Chachi, he talked about how his parents used to listen to Tony Bennett in the '60s, and then Chachi LaPret was a big advocate of playing the new Tony Bennett songs on the radio in the '80s. And like he said on our show a year ago, we talked about it several times, and it's a great story too. And he started playing the Tony Bennett albums. I think he might have said he checked with manager, and the manager said, "Oh, okay, it's your show, so just play it." And he was playing the Tony Bennett song, the new Tony Bennett, and maybe playing some old stuff, but playing the newer albums that he was putting out in some kind of the '80s, and everybody seemed to like it. And I think BCN was a powerhouse radio station nationwide, and everyone's listening. What's BCN playing? What's BCN playing? And then they realized, we got a DJ playing Tony Bennett, on a rock and roll station. and then other stations started playing it. And it was a fascinating story, and then his, you know, and then his, you know, his, it comes back a second wave, you know, career, and that's a great album. And then he also talked about his parents loving him, and then him getting to be friends with him. He was able to have his parents meet Tony Bennett and go to Death Supper, and it's just imagine your idol, you know, listen to somebody you really love back in the '60s, early '70s, and then meeting him later through your son. It's like if you know, being in the radio business, and you found somebody who I really loved later on that I listened to, and then 20-something years later or 30 years later, you introduced me to somebody I really loved. It's one of the great feelings in the world, and I think it's a fascinating story. Every time I think he said that story like twice, and I always thought that story was really a touching story.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I really do. That's a great. I love when Chachi comes on the radio and calls in. He's such a great guest. He's such a wonderful person, and I've been listening to his Breakfast with the Beatles show for years.
All right. Open phone lines 508-822-1106. Let's take our first commercial break right now and our news break. When we come back, we will have the second half of the program here in just a few minutes. But let's take our commercial and our news break right now here on WPBF 1530 AM 99.7 FM Middleboro in Review.
Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Fridays. Call them today. You will not be disappointed. 508-583-1495.
God bless you. Hi, my name is Reverend Curtis Dias. I'm the senior pastor at Calvary Pentecostal Church, located at 33 Prairie Road in Freetown. I just wanted to tell you that I love you, and we pray that you grow in grace instead of disgrace. God be the glory, and we're on WVBF 15.
That seems to be working out good for you, huh?
Every Sunday
What?
morning,
Doing the
10 to 11 o'clock. I hope that you enjoyed this.
doing the streaming on the computer.
Yes. Sometimes it's finicky, but mostly it works. I'm just pissed off that Facebook is changing their live stream storage
Oh, you know what? That would just motivate you to get off your butt
yeah.
and put it on YouTube.
I think I'm gonna probably start streaming it on YouTube only, probably pretty soon.
You might as well.
Unfortunately,
I
for the
think
Facebook
I think
fans.
more people do YouTube more than Facebook.
Yeah.
I find Facebook boring. I really do. Yeah.
I will. I'll share out the Facebook. I'll share out the YouTube channel. I mean, I'll put the finished, live streams on Facebook. I don't think those will get deleted off the Facebook page from the YouTube live streams because those aren't the live
The quicker
streams.
you get them on YouTube, the better, because you don't know what kind of shenanigans Facebook is going to start pulling. You know?
I think Facebook is falling off a cliff.
September 30th, and urge all conservatives in Congress to do the same. The letter comes to House Republicans
Anyway.
to prepare a clean CR until the end of the fiscal
Whatever.
year on September 30th
I'm not
to avert a
worried
shutdown
about it.
at March 14th funded deadline. President Trump has backed this plan.
Because there are other options.
The thing about Facebook is just like, you got people off the wall with their opinions, and it's just.
Alright. 4 minutes or so.
I always found out when you complain on Facebook, no one cares, no one listens to you.
Pine Barrens? What's going on with Pine Barrens?
Their economy is on track. The growth of AI is demanding more and more juice. More on these stories at townhall.com.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money, a bigger house, maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How you wake up each day?
Oh,
How do you sleep?
There's,
What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So pain is affecting your life.
brush fire going on
Can help.
near the Pine Barrens.
Really?
Yeah.
Naturally developed by doctors.
50% contained, but you know, there's brush fire going on.
Helps reduce
Long Island area.
eliminate pain. How do I know?
Long Island?
Long Island brush, yeah. Long Island.
No, it's not the Pine Barrens. Pine Barrens in New
And
Jersey.
the Pine Barrens.
Oh, in the
The
Pine
longer you
Barrens.
take it, the more effective it is.
You know, that's from people throwing cigarette butts.
The Hamptons, Long Island brush fire
Just one phone call.
Right.
in Pine Barrens.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's from people throwing cigarette butts out the window. It has to
3
be.
weeks or even days. Relief Factor can give you a
It's been
chance
wet.
to rediscover
I mean, I don't know.
living better
Still,
again. Visit
it's March. I don't
relieffactor.com.
understand why they're having fires in the Northeast. You know what it is? It's the winds.
It's the winds.
The winds.
It's been windy, like, it's been windy non-stop for weeks. It seems like, you know, it's been really windy.
This is the lightest I've seen the wind in like 3 days.
It's been windy for a lot longer than 3 days.
6 months ago, Macron seemed weaker than ever. After
I don't remember a day where it wasn't windy. It's been windy for a while. I don't understand it. But it's the weather. The weather is weird sometimes.
Climbing the Big Ben Tower at the Palace of Westminster in central London while barefoot and holding a Palestinian flag. The man who appeared to be staging a protest on a ledge several yards up to Elizabeth Tower, which houses Big Ben, stepped off the building after midnight Saturday and into a cherry picker following a long conversation with negotiators. Got into a waiting ambulance. Traffic around Big Ben had come to a standstill for much of yesterday. News and analysis at townhall.com. Utah lawmakers have sent
They're gonna throw people in jail for these protests. You know, I mean, they send rescuers up and stuff like that, and you know, they put rescuers in, you know, and take. What if it was a real rescue? What if it was a high-rise fire?
It's a waste of resources.
You know, I mean, what if it was a high-rise fire?
They would act
And
right.
they got to deal with this clown up on
Exactly.
Big Ben because he's, you know, because he wants to protest. You know what I mean? You can protest all you want, but people gotta get involved and people gotta risk their lives. You know, you break the law. You just throw them in jail.
Jason Walker reporting.
Give them 5 years. You know, they won't be doing it anymore.
They found out what happened to Gene Hackman. He had some sort of heart issue along with Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Um,
Who died first?
His wife.
And then he probably didn't know she was dead, right?
Had no clue. No idea.
That's funny how they, well, suppose they're thinking she was taking care of him. That's probably why they didn't have people coming by.
And she died of hookah virus.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the dog? Did you figure out what happened to the dog?
When he starved to death because it was stuck in the cake in the little, you know, the thing that you put the dogs in to take them to the vet or
I was
whatever.
surprised
Take
nobody.
them somewhere.
Yeah, but it takes 10 days for a dog to die. I'm surprised no one came by. You know what I mean? If we stopped eating, we can get it 2 weeks.
Gene Hackman had 2 daughters. Like, why didn't they call? Okay, moving on. 3, 2, 1, and we're back as it is 7:36 a.m. here. Let's do our weather. Let's see here. It's a little windy. Wind gusts up to 19 miles per hour here in Taunton. And temperature of 45 today with a low temperature of 27. So, yeah, not that bad temperature-wise. It's going to be a little windy, though. Tomorrow, clear skies, high 57, low 32, so temperatures will rise. In Newport Richey, Florida, 79 degrees, a low of 64. We're at the low in Newport Richey, Florida right now.
What are you doing, Newport Richie now?
Well, it's on my weather app, so I'm doing all the things that are on my weather app. And
Uh-huh.
there's just like 4 or 5 things. Like I said, Taunton, Middleboro, Taunton. I have Newport Richey on there for obvious reasons, Don.
Yeah.
And
And then the Driscoll.
then the Driscolls, exactly. So yeah, it's Newport Richey. Rain tomorrow, 70 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour.
Yeah.
70%. There we go.
Yeah.
70% in Newport Richie when it comes to rain tomorrow.
Attaboy, Luther.
69 degrees with a low of 58. In Middleboro, it is going to be 45 today with a low of 28. And sunny skies today. In Driscoll, I'm assuming this is Driscoll, Texas. Yeah, this is Driscoll, Texas. 71 degrees. So the thing with my weather app, it doesn't tell me if it's Driscoll, Texas or Driscoll, North Dakota. So I'm assuming here, but I think this is looking at what the weather is coming up for the next couple of days with this one. I think it's Driscoll, Texas. So Driscoll, Texas, 53 degrees, a high of 71, a low of 51 today. It's going to be a little windy as well, so temperatures will feel a little cooler. But there you go, Driscoll, Texas. Driscoll, North Dakota, 35 degrees, a high of 59, a low of 34. High wind right now in effect, high wind watch in effect, and that's expected to be taking place over the next couple of days as well. 20 degrees for the low tomorrow, a high of 61 with a low of 20. So quite a different thing there.
They're definitely digging themselves out of the basement because a month ago they'd probably be 6.
A month ago it was
minus 6.
No, like a month ago it was like minus 30.
No, you never
No,
read that.
it was. Yes, it was.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it was. They had a
With wind chill?
yes. No, not even with wind chill. It was like negative 30. Like that's the temperature. That was the temperature in Driscoll, North Dakota. They had some extreme cold going on for at least a week.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, like the whole area got hit. You know, you get that cold, it's just everything just shuts down. I mean, the oils, in the vehicles all start to gel, and
Yes.
the diesel fuel starts to gel. In the trucks, we have this diesel additive we put in when it gets cold. I always put it in. I told my boss to buy a case of it, and he did. And I don't take any chances because people don't do that. Everything just gels up. You know what I mean? So, and plus we park our vehicles indoors, which helps. But still, when you get out there with the wind chills, it's just always good to keep the diesel additive works really good in those trucks.
Yeah.
So it's with Diesel 101. Yeah. Okay.
All right, blood drives. We have a couple coming up. Tuesday, March 11th, Carver Middle High School, 60 South Meadow Road in Carver, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. for that blood drive. Wednesday, the 19th of March, Rosebrook Event Center, 50 Rosebrook Place, number 1. Gotta make sure I say number 1. Wareham, 1 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. And then we have the Church of Our Savior on Monday, March 31st, 2025, 60 Union Street in Middleboro, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for that blood drive. All right, those are blood drives there. We are all set with that. I mentioned this yesterday.
You mean Friday?
Yesterday. Sorry, Friday.
Yeah,
I
Friday.
apologize. Friday, not yesterday. And I'm going to mention this again. We have the cable auction coming up in Middleboro.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
March. Yeah.
So
You did that one time, right?
I did. Yes, I ran the sound for that one time, and then I believe I ran cameras for it one time as well.
That's funny too, because I'll never forget. You had 2 options there because you. I mean, I think technically you still work for MatCam. You haven't done anything in a while, but I'm sure you could. You're on the roster still, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You still got the Christmas party invite. So, and then you were, what was it, senior in high school? You did that.
Yeah.
So you were in Mr. Pelletier's class in TV Pro, and you had a choice. You could have worked for Karen, for the town, or you. But Mr. Pelletier asked, and you. It's funny because you had 2 hats. You could have had 2 hats.
Right.
You could have, and it's funny because you were technically working for MatCam before you even started that program, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
was working 15, technically.
Yeah.
Well, 15. I was going in there and what's the word?
Well, you helping John?
Yes.
I'm John Haley with the
Yeah.
because he did the thing. You did the sound, and I remember a lot of nights sitting there because I used to take you.
Yeah.
And some of those board of selectmen meetings are on 2.5, 3 hours.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting
They're
there.
long ones.
I'm sitting there falling asleep.
They were long ones.
And he like, Dad, you want to go home? I was like, no.
Yeah.
We I think there's only one time we left early because I was like falling asleep in the chair, and John's like,
And that was.
"You want to go home?" I mean, I think it was 12:15, and it was what.
And some of those meetings, those were fun meetings back then. In 2016.
Oh, talk about talk about a wrestling match. Yeah, I've seen some screaming matches.
Yeah.
That was a good year. You did that. You ran the sound for John.
Because there was some really interesting meetings back then.
Yeah. You ran the sound, he ran the thing, and
interestingly enough,
I still want to thank John Haley and Karen.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And
interestingly enough, all those people who were on the board in 2016, they're no longer on the board. It's a completely different board now.
Yeah. It's totally moved. It used to be in the basement of the town hall.
Exactly.
And now
different
they're on the corner of the bank building, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful studio. The cable commission and Karen. What's the last name? I'm sorry, I'm terrible.
Karen Foy.
Boy, she does such a wonderful job on that. Unbelievable. The way they put it together, and Zach.
Yes.
Zach was working there for a lot of years, and he's helped you a lot. And he's always been a great guy. When you went out to do some filming and stuff like that, always made sure you're all set. He's definitely a great guy you can approach. Just a great atmosphere, and I hope you call him up and start doing some more this year.
I'd love to. It's been very busy here.
I know. You got man in many hats. You got 4 shows, but maybe
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of things.
Hoping Tony comes back.
Doing a lot of things here, and then
Yep.
things at home as well.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
we've been dealing with a sick family member, so
Yep.
that's that comes first.
I know. What?
36th annual auction,
Okay.
March 22nd. Okay, so that's coming up. That's I believe it's 2 to 4. Online bidding has begun. So if you want to go online and do the bidding, you can do so until I believe 4 p.m. on March 22nd. That's when the online bidding closes, and that's when the auction on the televisions as well. I think it's on TV. It's on the Facebook at least. I hope it's on TV. I hope it's going to be on MacCam TV.
I'm sure it's going to be on that.
Yeah, I know it's
It
on
might
Facebook.
be on. It might be on TV. It might be on. Is that the school?
I don't know where it's going to be, actually.
Doesn't
It doesn't say.
Really?
I think it might be at the town hall, because the past couple of years, I think it's been at not town hall, on the at MacCam. At MacCam. That's where it's been the past couple of years.
Yeah, because that's why TV Pro got involved, because it was on school property when you did it.
Yes.
Back in 2000.
Yes, I don't think it's on
17.
school property anymore.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I think it's now at MacCam. That's where it is.
That
So
was-
March 22nd is when the auction.
That was at the high school. It was in the gym.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
The old high school.
Yeah.
Yep, the old high school. I have not went into the new high school just to check it out at all. Obviously I had no reason.
Maybe we
to.
should go by there.
I should. We should go by
And
there.
then maybe-
Obviously, I'm not a student there anymore.
But maybe
So
go and see if we can interview.
I don't have a reason right now to go there. But
Well, you
if
can.
I do
Well,
have a reason,
you can go in there
absolutely.
and maybe interview the principal. Is Brannigan still there, you think?
I believe he is. Yes.
Paul Brannigan?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Another great guy. I mean,
Yes.
all you teachers
Yeah.
are wonderful. Can ask for a better school system in Middleboro. And I'm not just saying that because he went there. It's just...
No, because it was a good school.
It was you know what?
It is still a good school.
It was a common sense kind of place. It really was. And everyone was nice. And I never heard about you getting bullied or nothing like that. It was really a great place for you to go to school. Great
Yes.
memories. Everyone was so nice. Everybody, I could sit here for an hour and just praise the Middleboro Public Schools and how good they were, how attentive they were. They attended every need, everything you needed. They were right there. They cared about you. They liked you. Some of them loved you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
Absolutely.
it's good.
Absolutely. All right. Transportation, Don. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right.
What do you got?
So. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do this one. MBTA has said commuter rail fare gates will be coming to 2 train hubs this year. The MBTA expects fare gates to be operational at 2 more Boston commuter rail hubs later this year. The T general manager said after a state watchdog criticized the agency's approach to fare collection. Okay, that's interesting. The MBTA general manager Philip Eng said agency officials pushed to speed up deployment of fare gates at South Station and Back Bay Station. They already have them up, I believe, at North Station.
Yeah.
Correct, Don?
Yeah.
Why do they need them at Back Bay? Anyway,
I don't.
we'll get to that in a second.
Is that gonna?
Which will implement similar technology in place at North Station already. The gates are designed to ensure that passengers are paid up before they board trains. Yeah, there are people who jump the
the problem
fare
is
evade, but
they're checking them twice though, and that's
exactly.
that's inefficient. Because if you have a 1A ticket, they have a 1A zone where you can technically, if you want to ride from South Station to Back Bay, it's $240. That's the same price as a subway toll.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go through the first gate. How are they to know you're not just going one thing? And then they check. So in a way, it's just have more conductors on the trains checking fares.
Yes.
Why would you set up all this electronics and do fare gates when somebody's walking in with a 1A? They scan it, you get through the gates, and now they got to do
Now I think yes, there are people who fare evade, but it's just such a small percentage. I just don't think this is.
I don't know.
Useful.
I don't know. Somebody who's putting all that equipment in is loving life. They're getting a nice fat deal, and when they
I just don't think this is useful.
I just think you know what, for the money of all the equipment that's going in, I think, and the maintenance and the electricity and everything that has to do with putting those fare gates in. And first of all, the fare gates is gonna it's gonna clog everything up.
Yeah, and the fare gates are annoying.
If you look at South Station when they call, you got a rush of about 100 people walking towards their trains. Now all these people are going to be tied up. There's going to be gridlock behind it. There's going to be lines now, and it's just like.
And they're annoying. They're very, very annoying. And
then if somebody's
what if they break? What if they break
and
as
people,
well?
I've dealt with it in New York, okay? We're running the New York subways, and if you don't put those cards just right, they double scan you. I've gotten triple scanned. I remember we went there, I put like $10 on it,
Yep.
and you got to do it a certain way, and if you don't do it a certain way, they double bill you. Okay, so there's going to be people who don't know how to use the cards, they got to be trying to, and you got people plugging up behind, trying to get through those fare gates. How many fare gates can you put in? 12, 15 of them? Compared to 100 people behind you pushing. And then if they call another train, and then they go, it probably works at North Station because only 4 trains leave North Station. And 5 would be the Down Eastern Amtrak. Okay, there's 5, okay? Which, but you got 11, what do you got, 9 or 10 on the south side? Maybe 11 now with the New Bedford. Middleboro's a line, but now you got to have 2 more trains. Middleboro's, not going to be a route anymore. It's going to be Fall River train, or it's going to be a New Bedford train, or a Taunton train, whatever, however they do it. But for the money for the scan, if you put more conductors in, you get everybody, everybody gets collected, and plus you have more people on the train for safety.
Yeah.
More conductors on the train to maintain the train, maintain safety, monitor the train. I think it's a win-win. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe long-term employees over the equipment, but I'm sure that equipment's a lot of money
So,
to set those fair and
devil's
maintain them.
advocate here for a second. Fare gates make more sense at South and North Station than they do at Back Bay. Why is Back Bay being added?
No. They make no sense at South Station because it's too busy.
I mean, they don't make. Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I agree with you. I'm just
The
saying.
only reason it sort of works,
It doesn't work at all. Period.
Maybe it works in North Station. Okay, I haven't been there and saw it in action, but there's only 4 commuter lines. It's only 4 compared to like 8 or 9 or 10.
Back Bay.
No, well, what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Back Bay.
I don't know.
All
I
right.
mean, if they have two conductors per train usually, if they put 2 more on, they'd have 4. I don't know. Maybe it costs more to have human people than to have the technology to build the machines. But I'm sure those machines aren't cheap, and then you got to maintain the machines, and you got to run electricity to run the machines. And I think South Station, it's just going to plug everything up. I got a funny feeling once they put it in South Station, there's going to be all these lines, and I don't know. There's too many people in South Station. Hopefully, it could be a better way, but it sounds like they made their mind. They're doing that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like what they're doing. That's where they're going.
But they can't look at North Station. North Station only has 4 trains.
All right. Well,
There's going to be plug up.
if there's any updates on this, we'll definitely talk about it.
I don't know. That's just my
It's,
opinion. I don't know.
Confusing. Anyway,
How much more is it the equipment's going to be a lot of money.
yes, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. And like I said, what if they break? What if the fare gauge breaks? There you go. You know, you get even more frustration. You get even more delays.
oh yeah, and then it breaks is we need to order like a chip or something or a scanner or something that goes with that. And it's oh yeah, well it's coming from Taiwan or it's coming from here. And, just like all the
it'll take weeks.
You want to put more gadgets in, but you can't fix the gadgets to there. Like half the escalators are broken.
You want to put more technology in stations when you can't fix the technology that's broken in there already.
Right.
Yeah.
We
You know
can't get
how many
parts.
broken escalators are on the subway system?
I think you did a list on that.
Dozens.
Yeah.
Dozens.
Yeah.
You do not want to have a broken escalator at Porter. That's one of the
That is
stations. You do not want to have a broken
That is the
escalator.
deepest station in the MBTA system.
That would be a disaster
It
to have a broken
is
escalator.
deep. It is. It takes a good, I don't know, about maybe a minute or 45 seconds to get to ride the escalator. That's a long time.
Not fun. Well, it's almost spring, John. You know what that means? Ferries are coming back. Well, some of the ferries that don't run, year round.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ferries are fun.
So, upcoming Winthrop and Quincy ferry upgrades this season will include doubling the number of weekday trips, which I think that's
When
positive.
you say Quincy, it's Marina Bay.
Yes.
Okay, because they used to have a ferry over at the Fur River Shipyard, but that they don't run it from there anymore. They only park them there.
So, I think they're doubling the number of weekday trips, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Direct Winthrop to Boston and Quincy to Boston service on weekdays and weekday trip times enhancement by about 30 minutes. So that's another positive.
Right.
If they can keep that up. The MBTA today, this is not today. They actually announced it last week. Announced start dates, trip information, and improvements for pretty much all the ferries, actually. So let's just run through that real quick here as fast as I can. Winthrop and ferry information, Winthrop and Quincy ferry information. The weekday service, Winthrop and Quincy ferry weekday service, that's going to begin on Monday, April 28th. Weekend service, the Winthrop and Quincy Ferry weekend service, that begins on Saturday, May 24th to coincide with Memorial Day. On weekends, the MBTA will continue to operate a combined Winthrop and Quincy Ferry route serving all destinations. The one-way fare for the Winthrop Quincy Ferry is $6.50 or $3.25 for reduced fare riders. Tickets can be purchased on the M-Ticket app and or with cash on board. Lynn, weekday service begins on Monday, March 31st. The Lynn Ferry weekend service will begin on Saturday, May 24th. Now again, to coincide with Memorial Day weekend. One-day fare on the Lynn Ferry, that's $7. $3.50 for reduced fare riders. Hingham and Hull ferry information. That weekday service that begins. Actually, no, that doesn't begin. That's year round. Actually,
That's year round.
Apologize.
That is year round.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
The weekend service, however, that isn't year round. That begins Saturday. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I'm just gonna probably say I think all these start on the weekend service for all these start on Memorial Day weekend. Saturday, May 24th, 2025. A one-day fare on the Hingham and Hull ferry is $9.75. Oof, that's a lot.
What?
$9.75 for one way.
They upped it.
Yeah,
It was $7. Didn't we ride it last year? Was it $7?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But
But
the
$4.85 for reduced fare.
But the Lynn Ferry 7.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 9. And it's only. Remember we rode the Lynn Ferry last time and they ran out of ground, and then we come back and there's a official dude, wait for him at the dock. I could tell when we pulled into Rose Wharf. I see the guy sitting there. He had like a T badge on. He looked like he's like, this is the guy you can talk to. This guy needs some answers because what happened and why they ran out of ground, trying to turn around for a little bit. Remember that?
Yeah. East Boston ferry information, weekday and weekend service that would begin Monday, March 31st. There we go. With one-way fare for East Boston ferry is, get this done, $2.40.
That's the price of the T.
Yeah.
If you were to take the blue line across, that's the same price.
$1.10 for reduced fare.
All right.
That's pretty darn
Well,
good.
if you want to go for a boat ride and you can really see Boston, that's the
East
way
Boston.
to go.
Charlestown Ferry, the weekday and weekend service continues to operate year-round. One-way fare for the Charlestown Ferry, that is $3.70, $1.85 for reduced fare riders. So that is all ferries.
One thing before you sign off is
Yeah.
when we went to New York with your cousin about a while ago, we rode that Circle Line boat, right?
Yes.
And I think we all paid like $40 a piece. It was crazy. It was a lot of money. But you want a cheap day to New York as far as seeing the waterfront, ride the ferries.
Yeah.
They're a little expensive on the Hudson side, but on the New York side, on the Brooklyn and East River side, there's a bunch of them. It's cheap. Yeah, it's still cheap. It might be like $6, $5, $7. I don't think it even more than $5. It's probably more now. You know what I mean? But you want to see New York and all the different ports along the from Pier 17 all the way up the East River. I think we rode on a few, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oof, Hingham and Hull, almost $10. Oof.
And plus they whack it up on
Not back. Not good.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday. I'll be back next Sunday, for another edition of Middleboro in Review. I will be back on the air.
Yeah, Ron is
doing the show for me tomorrow. I will be back on the air on Wednesday with another edition of Hometown Talk, and then Friday, of course, and then Sunday for another edition of Middleboro in Review. Until Wednesday.
Man of many hats.
Yes, until Wednesday, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Good week. All right. I'll be back. I should be back by 12 to get you. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Just tell Chris.
What?
Time to do that.
Yeah. I'll just tell him. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll get it some. Maybe it'll have Mark on here one day. Put it together. I don't want to do something to it.
News this hour.
Alright, hold on, let me-
I'm Michael Harrington. President Trump continues to doubt Ukraine's desire to reach a peace deal with Russia.
On the
Hey.
one hand, the president believes Ukraine
Bye,
wants a
everybody.
deal, but on the other,
Hold on.
he's expressing doubt. I'm finding it